it across the map before PL Miracle just rolls out of control, because Miracle, he's a god on this PL. I don't know what this guy cannot do on this hero at the moment, because he's just owning.
He's just an amazing player in general, but like everyone has been saying, his PL has been particularly impressive. I am interested to see how this middle lane's going to go, because I believe Kyle was saying that, you know, those axes, once you get a couple points, they really do one-shot the spiders.
The problem it isn't even about the lane itself, it's when Chris goes to these side camps to farm. Mind Control can just rotate in and axe, and he just gets all the gold and the neutral creeps, so Chris has to be super careful there.
And we are seeing a tri-lane here in the top lane. They're putting a decent amount of harass over onto Weehop at the pass back with Stinger. Is he going to be able to do it? No, they get the kill. First blood going over to Schofield.
Yeah, I like what he did there. He just orbs in, doesn't care about the tower. He is a puny little puck, but he sees that he is out of position a little bit. Yeah, they trade kills, but it's definitely a much better situation for Puck and the boys from Beast Coast.
Absolutely, and a lot of this is going to come down to that laning phase. You want to make sure that you get that experience, you can set up your cores, because it is so hard now, Lizard, to be able to recover later on if you've had a horrible laning phase.
Definitely so. Like, this meta, we've been talking about this for the whole tournament pretty much. The team that wins 2 out of 3 lanes, there's usually wins the game. There's no recovery in most of them. Then again, it's not that simple. There are definitely ways of coming back into the game and just taking back control.
I mean, we have seen the absolute comeback game last night, right?
Yeah.
That was absolutely insane.
There you go.
So
you just pick Dark Willow and let her dish out 10,000 damage in one single team fight.
Well, we can't. It's a good thing we only have the Broodmother in this game. I don't think Rich could handle a Dark Willow on top of that.
I can see him Craig-gasming over there already.
I know. Now, especially if Chris Luck eventually gets those spider legs plus more spider legs.
I sincerely doubt that Broodmother is going to be carrying those spider legs. No, yeah.
They could meme for it.
They could meme for Rich.
Because clearly, I mean, that's what Liquid did with Dark Willow getting the spider leg. No, that was a very smart pickup, obviously, but. Bottom lane, again, they have moved Stinger down after they got that first blood top, and we'll be assisting K1.
This lane is really static. You have Lich and Nyx who can definitely dish out a lot of damage. Lich is just one of those heroes. He just spams Nova, right? But Chen has always been a hero that's able to provide that sustain to his partner in the lane, and that's what he's been doing so far. Now that they're a couple of levels behind, Chen goes and pulls the creeps, brings them to the tower, makes the lane even easier for PL. So I don't think we're going to see many kills on that bottom lane unless someone really messes up or Chen gets a really good creep.
Definitely possible. Have you been playing a lot of Lich yourself in your pubs recently? It feels like this guy's everywhere.
I am a very known professional Lich and AA connoisseur and player.
You like your Frosty boys, got it.
I've actually been trolled for such a long time because there was a patch in which only AA and Lich were pretty the best position 5s, and I was literally playing Lich and AA for 2-3 months. Worst period of my life.
Little bit of damage over here onto GH. The toss back right over to Weehaw. Lelis gonna have to get himself through those trees. He is very tanky though. Should be able to move just fine, but will force GH back.
Even though GH and we are doing a really great job on this top lane, I loved the way Schofield and Lelis are just playing against them. They're helping each other out. They're not bailing. They're working really well against the tosses of GH. It's a solid performance by them so far.
So they did go and they went for a rotation into that bottom lane, or not rotation, but they set up the lanes a little bit differently, right? Because you've got the PL, you've got the Chen who's going to be grabbing those creeps. Is it just to kind of avoid what's going on in the top lane with Lelis and Schofield here?
It's because of the Broodmother in the mid lane. That's pretty much why they set up the lanes the way they set them up. Now Kuro comes.
Yeah, Frost Shield gets thrown out.
Axis.
Oh, he dodges, sidesteps. Chris Luck does need to be careful though. I don't think, can he get that final hit? The Frost Shield almost does it. Spiderlings will chase down their prey. They'll get a kill and they'll try to hold Mind Control a little bit more. But like we said, those axes just starting to shred through top lane. Schofield sitting very, very low. But looks like he's going to be able to juke around. They'll get a kill on the courier. Weehaw trying to run away from this dinosaur. Lelis slowly but surely drops the fire spot and he gets the kill.
Yeah, I told you, this top lane is going really well for them. However, the problem is in the mid, where Broodmother, he just died. Chris Luck messed up. That wasn't that great. He killed the champ before, and that's good, but he took so much damage from those axes, then he got caught off guard by mind control once again, and mind control is that kind of a player. If he sees an opportunity, he's definitely going to seize it, and Chris Luck paid the price.
So how do you want to play this Broodmother now? Because it's very difficult for you to be in that mid lane against mind control and those axes.
You probably want to play behind him. You want to go around that tier 1 and play around him, because if you are on your side of the map, he will scout you out, he will use those wild axes, and you will fall. Just like here. Once again, that's 2 deaths in a row.
Lich pulling back in. They have the frost shield, trying to get some damage onto GH. I'm not sure they have quite enough. That frost shield, though, the spider, they'll find it. Nicely done. Mind control trying to run away, and there's some more hungry babies there, Lizard. Gonna try to body block. One more hit. Here it goes, right up the hill. And there it is. She's Broodmother.
Hungry babies.
She's a mother.
Broodmamacita on that.
Broodmamacita.
Yeah.
There we go. GH Avalanche toss right back to Weeha here. Lelis taking a lot of damage. Drops the Firestone. They're going to try to make this play. Schofield, he's got the damage. He's going to try to get over there. Waiting Rift. Can he find the final hit in here? No, it's going to be Weeha with just 40-something hit points surviving.
This time around, Nigma definitely do show their skill, and they do show why they're probably considered the favorites in this matchup. We baits him in, puck goes a little bit too deep, there's no creeps to tank the tower hits. He goes in for that kill, but he didn't have enough damage. We read that perfectly well, and they get both of them. Not only Schofield's puck, but they also kill the Underlord too.
Oh, and they'll find a kill on Stinger. He tries to TP out. Lelis also down here, but he's taking a lot of harass from Miracle. He's gonna try to hide in the tree line. They still just keeping eyes on him. Another Firestorm. Kuro needs to be careful. Kuro himself starting to sit very, very low. Lelis, he's unrelenting. He wants this. He's going to go right in. One more hit should do the trick onto Kuroki. And now Lelis himself is going to probably fall here. Can he break it? Nope, he's going to get caught by Miracle.
Yeah, some of these lanes for Beast Coast, they started off well. It looked alright, but right now, I don't know, they're struggling. They're trying to rotate these lanes around, and it's not working. Chris Luck as well on this mid lane has died twice in a row, and that has significantly weakened him. I believe that he has to go for that kind of a build that will allow him to fight earlier now. He might be dead once again. I'm
guessing he's very dead. He got roared, followed up with a lot of lockdown, and he's just deleted.
It's very difficult to play Brood versus Nigma.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Oh my god. And the bottom lane, Miracle is
Can you slow down a little bit? I can't keep up with all the kills.
You can't slow down. You're playing against Beast Coast. If you slow down, that's going to allow Chris Luck to start getting back in the game. That's what we've seen before in the past.
And that's definitely true. That's a fair point. I'm just saying slow down because I can't keep up with all the kills. Even the observers, they can't just go over the map all the time.
Come on, Lizard. You're a former pro. Let's step it up. Step it up here.
I'm an old guy. In any case, if you're Beast Coast, you have to bring your numbers on one side of the map and try to play like that, because right now you're being crushed on every single lane in these 2 versus 2 engagements. You need to strategically change something.
Looks like they'll probably be able to get the kill onto GH here. It's going to throw out that avalanche. Still trying to move away, but the frost shield coming out, and the right click from Schofield will be able to collect the kill.
That's pretty decent. At least the 3 of them made one move. It's only GH that they've got, but that's a position for Tiny, who's had a lot of success so far in the game. So even getting that kill is good for them. K1 farming on that top lane, going for that pretty much normal build that we see right now. Maelstrom, he actually started with phases. I've seen a lot of Nixes in this tournament and before around New Year just going for the Maelstrom first, not even boots, just instant javelin, first item on the lane. And it can work sometimes, but the problem was he was pressured too much in that lane, and phases allow you to play the lane a little bit easier if you're pressured.
That makes sense, because, eventually you do want to go for the Maelstrom build for dealing with the skill, but Miracle is just already starting to get out of control here.
Maelstrom, you have to think about it basically as the best next thing after Midas, or what Midas used to be, right? Maelstrom allows you to farm, but it also just gives you the damage that you need to fight better, and it's overall a really good item for an Ix.
Just managed to take that TP and the courier from GH. Poor GH, he's lost his courier, what, twice now?
It's the fact that he lost the TP now. He's stuck on that top lane and he can't rotate.
Right.
He needs to stay there, and even if they go on him, he's going to be in problems. Outpost, top lane, it's Schofield that takes one. Meanwhile, they're losing the tier 1 mid.
It's a very important tower. They got the denial off, though, from Chris Luck. Again, GH top lane, waning rift coming up from Schofield, some body blocks, and I think Lela should be able to get that kill easy peasy. And we get a little bit of South American flair coming out now. How do you tip GH, though? Mind control, middle lane?
You just angered the Dota god.
I know, like, how do you do that? He's so lovely. Doesn't manage to get the chain frost off. There's a lot of these spider babies nearby, but in comes Weeha. He's gonna back up mind control as they're gonna wait patiently. They want this kill on Chris Luck. He is just not having a game. They drop the hammer and he's out of here.
I don't know.